Hello, welcome back to another countdown video here with your local cinephile, aka Jaren. Today we are counting down, we were just discussing this yesterday, our top 10 favourite movies of the decade so far.
Yeah, we only just decided to make this list like last night because we were just discussing it. It just came up and decided to do it, so...
Yes, and this list was incredibly difficult to make, so there's probably movies that I forgot and I'm going to come back later and say, fuck, how did I forget that? But we've done our best, we've each made a top 10, so we're just going to try and rattle through it reasonably quickly. But we've got a few honourable mentions. Jaren?
Alright, so I've got some honourable mentions here. I have Captain America and the Winter Soldier, my favourite Marvel movie, The Wolf of Wall Street, Seven Psychopaths, The Avengers,
Nice.
Super 8, Harry Potter and Deathly Hallows Part 2, The Dark Knight Rises, which is underrated opinion, but my favourite Batman movie.
Get out of my house. Get out of my house!
The Town, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, How to Train Your Dragon 2, and Toy Story 3.
Now, I love a lot of those movies. I only got a few honourable mentions because I just didn't want to go for too long, but my honourable mentions are Gone Girl, 127 Hours, The Social Network, and Silver Linings Playbook. Now, there are a shit ton of other movies I could have put on, but, you know, there can only be 10. So, here we go. We're each going to start off with our number 10. So, Jaren, get us started.
Also, before we go, just want to let you know, we don't know each other's lists, so this is going to be surprising for us too. We thought it would just be a fun idea to just go through them and be surprised by what.
So, yeah, there's probably going to be a lot of anger, a lot of hey, and probably, a lot of, you know, get out of my house.
Yeah.
Dark Knight Rises. It's good. It's good.
Yeah, in your opinion.
In my
I think
opinion.
it's the best Batman movie there is.
Alright, number 10.
Number 10, we have... I have probably one of my favourite action movies of all time. Well, it's probably like second or third, but it's Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, Tom Cruise was brought back. This time it was done by Brad Bird, the director of The Iron Giant and The Incredibles. He did this. This was his very first movie that was live action instead of animated, and he did it gorgeously. The infamous scene where he climbs the building, the very start, the prison scene, the one where the Kremlin gets 9/11, every single thing that happens is just a beautiful movie, and I love watching it.
I have not seen it. Yeah, I've only seen the fifth one. Okay, my number 10 is 2011 movie The Raid by Gareth Evans. Probably up there as one of the best action movies ever made. It's contained, it's tight, and it just has some amazing martial arts fight sequences. The acting's good. It went on to make a sequel, which was arguably better than this first one. And yeah, The Raid. Definitely check it out. One of the best foreign films I've ever seen.
Yeah, my number 9, my favourite action film of all time, The Raid 2.
Hey, nice.
Now,
I've got it higher. Should we punt it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about it after I have it higher. Now, my number 9 is a recent movie, Birdman. Now, it was initially my number 1 of 2014, but I changed that to a different movie. But I seriously still love Birdman. What Lubeski and Iñárritu did with the cinematography on that movie, with the one-take trick, it was like nothing I've ever seen before. And above that, it's filled with amazing, amazing performances, and it's a great commentary on the film industry.
My number 8 is what, in my opinion, David O. Russell's best movie he's ever made. And it doesn't even star Jennifer Lawrence. It's The Fighter.
Nice.
The Fighter with Christian Bale. Melissa Leo both won Oscars for this. Mark Wahlberg should have been nominated. Every single person in this movie soars. It's my favourite boxing movie, and I love boxing movies. They're one of my favourites, and I think it's a great personal growth story. It's also a movie about drugs, and it's a movie about family life, and it's just a great all-round movie. It's a great
movie. I've watched it many times. Not my favourite O. Russell movie. That's Silver Linings Playbook, but none of them made my list, but I do like him as a director. We're going to see Joy this week, so I don't know if that's going to be any good, but my number 8 is Black Swan. Now, I'm a huge fan of Darren Aronofsky, the wrestler, Requiem for a Dream, the drug film with Jared Leto, and I even liked Noah. Honestly, I even liked Noah. Aronofsky, I love him. Black Swan is great. Fantastic performance from Portman. Mila Kunis is great too. And it's just so effective. It's terrifying. Like many Aronofsky films, it turns into a horror movie by the end of it. Like psychological horror. She's hallucinating. And it's just a film about passion and how it can consume you. And it is a masterpiece.
To be fair, when I had it on my list, and then when you said The Raid, I realised I forgot to put the Raid films on, so I swapped the Black Swan out for The Raid too. So, yeah, that's gone.
Good movie though.
We're up to number 7, and for number 7, it's my favourite trilogy of all time. It's the last one, and it is The World's End.
Nice.
You have a higher?
I couldn't get it on.
You couldn't even mention it.
I love The World's End. Oh, I could have. I love The World's End, but I couldn't get it on. I've watched it so many times though.
The World's End, probably my second favourite
Also
film.
narrowly missed Scott Pilgrim vs. the World.
Oh yeah, same. I had to cut that. One of my favourite films of 2013, probably my maybe third or fourth favourite film of 2013. It rounds out the Cornetto trilogy. Simon Pegg and Nick Frost flip roles. This time Simon Pegg's the crazy one. It's an enticing story. If you haven't seen it, I'm not going to spoil it, but it is about friends that go on a pub crawl, and then at the end you find out it's actually a lot deeper than that with very heavier themes. So
yeah, I love it. Like, it pains me to not have it on, but Cornetto trilogy is my favourite series of movies. Anyway, moving on. My number 7 is a movie I just rewatched recently, Warrior, starring Joel Edgerton and Tom Hardy. It is so great. It's just a great cinematic story. You care about all the characters, and what I love is that there's two, rival fighters in it, and they're brothers, but there's no set protagonist or antagonist. The movie doesn't tell you who to root for. You root for whoever you relate to the most, whoever you connect to the most. I think I was rooting for Tom Hardy just because he's Tom Hardy, but I love this movie, and the ending packs such a powerful emotional punch. I mean, I was holding back the tears at the end of that movie, and the performances are so great. And it's really the only good MMA movie we have. There's a lot of boxing movies, but you think about it, there's not a whole lot about MMA, and the fights are well handled, and just the acting is so great.
It is.
Number 6 we're at?
For number 6, I have Moneyball. Written by the great Aaron Sorkin. This stars Jonah Hill in his very first Oscar-nominated performance since then he's done Wolf of Wall Street. It stars Brad Pitt. I believe he was Oscar-nominated too. Every single person in this movie just shines. This is a movie that should have been boring. It's all about statistics and analysis. There's even a joke in Brooklyn Nine-Nine where Captain Holt's sitting there and he's like, the statistical analysis.
It's beautiful.
It's so beautiful. And it's a Moneyball. Aaron Sorkin made it witty and he made it funny, just like he does, and he made it worth watching, and he made it not boring at all. And it's just Moneyball is just a film. It's all about math, and I love it. It's a brilliant film.
Didn't Bennett Miller direct it? Who went on to Foxcatcher?
Foxcatcher.
Yeah, not as good as Moneyball, but still intense movie. Can't wait to see what he does next. My number 6 is, I forgot, going to consult the list, Inside Llewyn Davis. Now, this is, it just came out of nowhere, and it may just be my favourite Coen Brothers movie. Now, I'm a huge fan of them. I've seen more than half their movies, and just every time I revisit Inside Llewyn Davis, it brings something new to the table for me. Oscar Isaac should have been nominated for an Oscar, for his performance in that movie. Yeah, I deserve that one. But seriously, Oscar Isaac's so good in it. Carey Mulligan was amazing. John Goodman's great in the small amount of screen time he has. And it's just such a... It's
Timberlake.
Timberlake, yeah, the singer, and Adam Driver, Kylo Ren and Poe Dameron reuniting to sing Please Mr. Kennedy. Yeah, the music's great in this. I never liked folk music, but I really got into it in this. I bought the soundtrack. I still listen to it sometimes. And it's such a smart movie. There's so much symbolism and metaphors, all the significance of the cat in the film. And the cinematography is mesmerizing, and it's so dark and bleak, but it's such a great character. Just such a great character study, really, and it's one I can watch and never get bored.
Yeah, so we're up to number 5. Number 5, I have my only movie of last year, The Revenant. Yep, I have The Revenant this high because it's. I
still haven't fucking seen it.
The Revenant is it's my favorite. It's my favorite film by Alejandro Inarritu, considering I've only seen 2. And Birdman was brilliant, but this movie he brought it to life. I felt like I was there because Emmanuel Lubezki's cinematography is just beautiful, all natural lighting, beautiful, all long shots. It was amazing what this man can do and pull out of his actors, and he just create a visceral story, a visceral just experience. This is when I went to see this was an experience, and I loved it.
Yeah,
great story, great performances by Leo and Tom Hardy.
I still have to wait because it didn't come out here, so I have to go travel 4 hours to see it, but I cannot wait for The Revenant. And my number 5 best movie of the decade so far is The Raid 2, the one we punted. So Let's get into it. It's a step up from the first one, which was at the time considered one of the best action movies around. And this guy just he upped the ante. He turned it up to 11. Just all the fight scenes in it. Everything's great. What's your favourite fight scene?
My favourite fight scene would probably be the prison fight scene in the first bit with the mud
amazing.
pit.
When they're all just mud fighting.
Yeah.
I can't even pick one. And so many like iconic villainous characters like Baseball Batman and Hammer Girl and stuff. They create cool characters that, they don't go too much into backstory. It's just a cool character that he can fight, and it's so perfect, and it goes bigger with the story. It's like 2.5 hours long.
Yeah, there actually is a story in this one.
Yeah, it has a huge sweeping storyline about the mob, and everything just works so perfectly. And this guy, Gareth Evans, is one of the best action directors working today, if not the best, up there with George Miller.
I'd say the best.
Yeah, and I cannot wait to see what he does next. He's doing an English language movie, and I believe he's doing The Raid 3 eventually, so can't wait to see where it goes.
He's doing an English language movie?
Yes. He hasn't said what it's called or anything, but he's doing one.
Not bad.
What do we got at number 4?
At number 4, we have my best movie of 2013, Rush.
Good movie.
Now, Rush...
Didn't make mine.
Oh, fuck yeah. Rush is the true story of the rivalry between Niki Lauda and James Hunt, played by Daniel Bruhl from Inglourious Basterds and Chris Hemsworth from Everything. They're a great rivalry. This is a movie about, it's the same as Warrior. There's whoever you personally connect to is the person you'll root for. There is no villain.
Who did you root for?
Chris Hemsworth, because he's Chris Hemsworth.
I was rooting for Niki Lauda.
I could also see where Niki was coming from, but James Hunt,
because he took the racing seriously.
Yeah, but so did James Hunt. It was all about passion for him. Niki Lauda, he did not take it seriously. He said if he could do something better and make more money, he would do it. Yeah. James Hunt did it for the racing.
Yeah.
Niki Lauda was a bit of a dick.
And plus, how good was Daniel Bruhl in that movie?
Oh, he should have been.
He should have been Oscar nominated.
He was nominated for the Globe, but he was snubbed for the Oscar, which is just ludicrous. This is Ron Howard at his best. All his tricks, from going quick cuts to the car to the engine popping to everything. He tried to use that in Heart of the Sea, did not work. But in Rush, it just worked perfectly. And when I watched this, before I watched this, I had no idea what F1 racing was, Formula One. Like, I knew what it was, but I had no interest whatsoever.
And it made us interested.
And after I watched it, I wanted to go out, buy some racing games, watch some Formula One. It just made me interesting.
Yeah, Rush probably was close. I really loved it. Just didn't quite make mine. Now, my number 4 is my favourite movie of 2014, Whiplash. It's just... I can't describe it. The first time I watched it, I didn't even love it that much. I was like, yeah, that was good. A little disappointing. And then I saw it for the second time in theatres, and I'm like, this is phenomenal. The ending, like the 10-minute ending sequence, the drum solo and everything, like had me like palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy, and Mom's spaghetti was just all over my sweater already, and it was just so intense.
Were you nervous?
I was yeah, but on the surface I was calm and ready.
Nervous.
So yeah, Whiplash, like Miles Teller, great. J.K. Simmons definitely deserved his Oscar, and it's just so intense. It's a great little story. It has great music in it. The drumming is good. They did it pretty realistically. Miles Teller did a lot of his own sort of drum work, and it's just so mesmerizing and intense. That's the only way I can describe it. I can go back and watch it and just feel the same emotions every time.
Number 3, we have a movie that will probably be higher in Jacob for the song and have to wait to talk about it, and that's Django Unchained.
Oh yeah, punt. My number 3 is Mad Max Fury Road. Still my favourite movie of 2015, although there are still probably 5 more movies I need to see before I make my list, but Mad Max Fury Road is just... it blew me away completely. I've talked about it countless times on this channel, so I'll try and keep this short and sweet, but it's just... I've never seen anything like I've seen in this movie before. The practical effects, the non-stop action thrill ride, but behind all the action, there's still character, and they use the action and fight scenes to further the character development. And there's so many themes, there's so much lore in the background, there's so much going on to the story that you can't see, and they're just not spoon-feeding it to the audience. And great performances, great. It has the emotional moments are really effective, but just the action is what you come to see. And I've seen this movie like 7 times, and it doesn't get old. The action is just so good, and I love how George Miller made it so anyone could understand this movie. You could watch this movie on mute and you could still, tell what's going on, and he originally wanted to release it in black and white, which I'll be very interested in seeing.
I heard he was re-releasing it in black and white.
Please do that. Number 2, Jaron, what's your number 2?
Number 2, I have my best movie of 2014, and it's by my favourite director, and it's Gone Girl. Gone Girl by David Fincher, starring Rosamund Pike, who should have won the Oscar.
Oh, she's fantastic.
She was snubbed by Julianne Moore, who was just
good. She was good, but...
Rosamund needed it.
Oh, Julianne was good, but Rosamund was better.
And Ben Affleck, who was perfectly cast in this role because he is what that guy is in real life, pretty much. He's been under a lot of media scrutiny. This movie, because he cheats on everyone he has a relationship with. Anyway, besides that, this Gone Girl is just like this. It tells a true tale about the media in real life and how they manipulate stories, and it's also like about sexism, like how automatically, because he's a man and she's a woman, he's the bad guy and everyone turns on him straight away, and how everything can flip in one moment. And it's crazy actually seeing this and then watching the news later and going, yeah, but is that actually, like, what if that guy, like, it's just to watch it unfold and to watch the twist, which is one of the greatest twists in cinema history.
Jaw dropped.
One of the greatest twists in cinema history, if not one of my favourites. Is just incredible. And to watch this movie unfold, the way they marketed it, because David Fincher was directly involved in the marketing, he wanted to make sure no one knew anything about this twist at all. He wanted to make sure that no one had any idea what was going on. So when everyone saw it in cinema or for their first time, as long as you didn't get it spoiled for you, you were just blown away automatically.
Indeed, and I saw this twice in theatres, and just as good the second time, because you pick up little things that you missed, little foreshadowing and stuff like that. Now, my number 2 is a movie that didn't even make Jaron's list, but that movie is Drive. I wish I could replicate the first time I saw the movie Drive, because it was just incredible. I don't know, it's not huge or loud or anything. It's not, like, I don't know, it didn't win any Oscars or anything, but there's just something about it that brings you in and captivates you. Ryan Gosling was so great as the silent driver, and it's just, the movie oozes style and it oozes coolness. The synth 80s style soundtrack, the bursts of brutal violence and everything like that. The love story at its heart, that's actually pretty good. And Oscar Isaac in there again. That guy's just popping up everywhere. I forgot he was in that movie, actually. And then Carey Mulligan's also great, and those two work together a lot. Bryan Cranston, yes, he was amazing in this, and a scene I won't spoil. He was really good. Albert Brooks was great, and it's just, I don't know, the symbolism of the scorpion and the frog. I want that scorpion jacket, man. I want one of them. I mean, it'd probably look terrible on me. I would not be able to pull it off. Nowhere near as cool as Ryan Gosling, but I want one of those fucking jackets. I want an action figure of that character.
I reckon you could give Ryan Gosling a run for his life.
Oh, yeah. I'm pretty, sexy, if I don't mind saying so myself. Sorry, Jaron, I know we can't all look like me. But Drive, I don't know how to describe it. I mean, I seriously wish I could erase my memory and go back and watch it for that first time again. Now, Jaron, what is your I already know what it's going to be because I know you.
Oh yeah, my number 1 pick. I watched it again a couple of weeks ago, and if not my second, probably my favourite film of all time. I'll have to rewatch my other one. But this is another film by my favourite director, David Fincher, and this is The Croods.
Oh, I love The Croods. Great film. Nicolas Cage should have been Oscar nominated for his work in that.
I don't know why it is snubbed, but The Social Network. The Social Network has been described, and I believe this with my whole heart, if the greatest movie about our generation that exists. Jesse Eisenberg is in this. Armie Hammer. This is, I believe, my favourite performance by Andrew Garfield, which is a big step considering he was great in 99 Homes. But I
prefer 99 Homes.
He was Oscar
not
nominated.
The movie, but the performance.
Oh, he wasn't. Jesse Eisenberg was Oscar nominated in this. So was this has also got a boy. Justin Timberlake. This has got everyone, and it's a true story, and it's directed by David Fincher. It's written by Aaron Sorkin again, my boy, who also written Moneyball, and he did Steve Jobs, which is the best screenplay of last year. He knows how to write a movie which should be boring, but it's exciting, it's exhilarating. It's actually it's like a thriller, and it's about some guy who steals another guy's website idea. Like, it is incredible.
What I love about Sorkin is that it's really mean-spirited, It's not nice.
This movie is very not nice, and this is, in my opinion, the greatest screenplay ever written. Ever put pen to paper. This is the greatest screenplay ever written. The direction by David Fincher scored him a nomination. Actually, did he win?
No.
I don't think he did win.
He never wins.
But he won. This also won screenplay though. But this one, it did win a lot of things. I think it won picture, didn't it?
2010. I don't know. I
think it may have. I know it was up for it. Actually,
we'll find out.
It probably
put it
lost
up on
something.
the screen.
But anyway, this Social Network. It's one of the greatest movies, well, in my opinion, of all time, and
good.
it's just
not my favorite Fincher movie though. I love Fincher though, but my favorite movie is probably, I've got to say, Fight Club. I love Fight Club. Anyway, shall we move on?
Yep.
My number one is one you probably already guessed it. It's the one we punted. It's his number 3. It's Django Unchained.
It's my favorite Tarantino movie.
It is up there, man. I don't know. That, Inglourious Basterds, and Pulp Fiction, that's like the trifecta of greatness for him. I love all 3 of those.
They're my 3.
But Django Unchained, the one that came out in this decade, and it's the movie... What I have to say about Django Unchained, it's the movie that made me love movies. If it weren't for Django Unchained, I may not have this obsession with film that I have now, because it's really one of the first serious, like, actual films I watched, because before then I really was only into, you know, Adam Sandler comedies and, you know, all that action movies and all that kind of crap.
I was once like that.
Yeah, and I watched this at the end of 2012 on a recommendation from a YouTuber I watched, and I watched it and I was just blown away. I'm like, wow, I didn't know movies could be like this, and it was incredible, and it's so much fun. The dialogue, every piece of dialogue is just poetry, and that's what Tarantino is great at. He writes amazing dialogue, great. He gets amazing performances. He got Christoph Waltz 2 Oscar wins, like, in a row. And he's great in this as the good guy, and Jamie Foxx is great as Django. Leonardo DiCaprio, man, should have been nominated for this.
This is his second best work.
He cut his fucking hand open on glass, for real, and it bled, and he kept... Whatever. And he kept acting. He kept acting.
And he rubbed it
all over Kerry Washington's face, and she was like, ah!
I was about to say Lupita Nyong'o's face, but all over the black girl's face, and it is just...
Yeah.
Once you watch that movie, you are sucked into it. Like, it is so much fun. Like, 2.5 hours just goes in a click. It's just amazing to watch.
It rewrites history, but at the same time, it pays respect to the victims of slavery and everything. But I love how Tarantino does this. He changes history a little bit. It's a revenge story, man. And then Inglourious Basterds, where they get to shoot Hitler in the face.
I don't think he really changed history, because this isn't a true story.
Yeah, no, what I mean is, like, he takes history and he makes up a story, and it's something that would never have really happened.
Yeah, but Inglourious Basterds is a true story that actually happened, and he changed it.
Yeah, well, shooting Hitler in the face never really happened, but that, like, I love how he just does shit like this, and it's kind of like his historic trilogy, I guess, these 2 and then The Hateful Eight, which we have not seen yet. We're going to be seeing it in a few days.
We're seeing it
on Friday. So yeah, Django Unchained, my favourite movie of the decade so far. There are probably a bunch of other movies that we both might have forgotten, but what say you? Comment, what are your favourite movies of the decade so far? Give us a bit of a list, and let us know what kind of other lists you'd like to see us do, because he's in town for another week or so, and we want to put out some more content. So thanks for watching.
Thanks for having me. And
check out his old channel, Your Local Cinephile. He doesn't want it to see the light of day, but I'm going to put the link to it
you don't want to.
In the description, because he used to be great at pronouncing names. Emily Hirsch is one of my favourite actors.